stars, we are very glad that Kate Middleton has been given a clear bill of health, but the palace continues to play semantic games about the diagnoses that we heard about all throughout 2024. According to the Mercury News, the palace finally cleans up report that Kate Middleton never had cancer. Say what? Kensington Palace has finally taken action to address an apparent error made by a well-known royal reporter who incorrectly suggested in September that Kate Middleton never had cancer, but was instead diagnosed with precancerous cells. The report by Rhiannon Mills, the senior royal editor for Sky News, resurfaced over the past week and prompted a new round of conspiracy theories surrounding the Princess of Wales' cancer diagnosis and recovery, the Daily Beast reported. Vicious online rumors once again erupted on social media, with royal critics accusing Kate of either faking her cancer or exaggerating her health crisis to cover up personal difficulties. Was that a divorce, a separation, an affair on one or both parties' part? Well, who knows what kind of personal difficulties, but certainly a difficult health moment backs everyone off from questioning disappearance in general, not working, or constantly going on vacation that even when you're recovering from cancer, you can't go into the sun. So that means no sailing and no beach vacations. We know Kate Middleton was doing both. I understand the confusion, but the Mills made the apparent error while writing about the uplifting, stylishly produced video that Kate and Kensington Palace released on September 9th. In the video, the princess declared that she had completed her cancer treatment and was ready to resume royal duties. The Daily Beast reported she even said she was cancer-free. While writing about Kate's joyful video, Mills reportedly wrote, "In March, the princess confirmed that precancerous cells had been found following abdominal surgery and that she would have to undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy." Mills was referring to the earlier video that Kate released on March 22nd, in which she explained to the world why she had been missing from public view since December 2023. "In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous," the princess said in that March video. "The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I am now in the early stages of that treatment." Kate never used the words precancerous in her video, and the palace never used the words in their brief and sometimes opaque statements about the princess's health challenges. As a doctor told the Daily Beast, there's a difference between precancerous cells and having cancer. You either have precancerous cells or you have cancer. The two terms are not interchangeable. But Mills wrote, precancerous, and the journalist's use of this term either didn't get noticed by the palace at the time. You really think they didn't notice? Or the palace apparently didn't seek a correction until earlier this week, the Daily Beast reported. Mills's Sky News story was apparently updated on Monday, with a new paragraph that reads, "In March, the princess confirmed that she was having preventative chemotherapy after cancer was found in tests." Well, that's a very different sentence. And I really don't believe that Kensington Palace, particularly aides Lee Thompson and Jason Nauf and their ilk, including interns Colin, Ian, they had to notice, right? Everyone noticed. But now they put the screws on to correct the error. Do you believe that, stars? Daily Beast editor Tom Sykes explained how the palace should have been able to clean up this confusion much sooner. That's because Mills is a member of the Royal Rota, a group of royal journalists working for toxic British media outlets who are given unique access to royal events, propaganda, and palace aides, many of whom go unnamed in piles of articles attacking certain people and promoting others. Well, while they maintain their editorial independence, oh really, and may write critical stories about the royals, or some royals, only certain royals, these journalists, well, columnists, let's call them columnists, because facts, they're kind of light on the facts, but heavy on the opinions, especially when it comes to attacking Princess Meghan and Prince Harry. The journalists also cooperate with the palace on logistics and other matters, with palace aides able to reach out to them behind the scenes to brief them on background. Palace staffers also can contact Royal Rota reporters to get simple errors or false reports corrected. Let's remember when people talked about Kate Middleton having hair extensions, the phone lines lit up to get those stories corrected and removed. Do you have an opinion about whether Kate Middleton has ever worn hair extensions, wigs, or wiglets? I certainly have an opinion. Sykes reported that reputable journalists began contacting Kensington Palace last week to seek clarification on Mills's precancerous wording, but her Sky News story was left unchanged until Monday. According to Sykes, the palace's sluggish response is part of the larger problem of not understanding science, biology, or the medicine concerning cancer and other women's health facts. Certainly how it has managed the release of news about Kate's health crisis since the early part of this year beggars concern, right? Don't talk about it if you don't understand it. Don't make up stuff if you're going to get the facts wrong. You know, the producers of any medical, procedural fiction series know better, and they hire experts, medical experts, police experts, legal experts, so that they get the details correct. This is very late in the game. This is the ninth inning, as it were, when the palace is stepping in to correct missteps and confusing statements that have been long published. Curious, is it not? Sykes said the palace has adopted a half-transparent, half-secretive approach, which first fueled concerns about Kate's well-being in January 2024, when it was revealed she had undergone planned abdominal surgery and would need to stay in the hospital for up to 2 weeks. The palace refused to release any more information about the reasons for the surgery, saying it wanted to respect her medical privacy, But many raised alarms over the news, especially because they felt that such a lengthy hospital stay for a seemingly healthy woman in her 40s suggested that her condition was serious. Kate then effectively disappeared for the next couple months, and no new information was forthcoming. In this vacuum, speculation and rumors about her whereabouts began to grow. The princess finally reappeared in a family photo with her 3 children that was released in early March 2024 to celebrate the UK's version of Mother's Day. But the photo's release turbocharged the conspiracy theories, Sykes wrote after major international news agencies reported that the photo had been doctored, edited, photoshopped like a jigsaw puzzle of different images where anomalies told the tale of it not being an authentic actual photo. Sykes said the photo's release turned out to be one of the most disastrous episodes of news management ever seen in the royal family. It was reported Kate felt compelled to finally reveal her cancer diagnosis in her March 22nd, 2024 video in order to quiet the conspiracy theories. But again, in the palace's half-transparent, half-secretive approach, the princess didn't explain what kind of cancer she had. Sykes explained that Kate's September video fueled more confusion about messaging and a disconnect between her and the palace. In the video, he noted that Kate also described herself as, quote, cancer-free, with her saying, doing what I can to stay cancer-free is now my focus. At the time, though, her office advised the media to not use the phrase cancer-free. Sykes reported, it's not clear what Kate meant when she said she was cancer-free, or why her staff asked reporters not to use that term. According to the National Cancer Institute, there's a difference between being cured of cancer and being in remission. A cure suggests there are no traces of cancer after treatment, and the cancer will never come back, while remission means that the signs and symptoms of cancer have been reduced, according to the Cancer Institute. If someone remains in complete remission for 5 years or more, as in all signs and symptoms of cancer have disappeared, some doctors may tell a patient that they are cured. Still, some cancer cells can also remain in a person's body for years afterwards. Right? We're not experiencing comparable confusion when it comes to King Charles and his prostate cancer diagnosis and treatment, his travels. He's not laying out on no beach. He's not going sailing, at least not to our knowledge. But, the Mercury News certainly has started something by putting these cancer and precancerous cells phrases back into comparison and analysis. Right? There's another article floating around that's discussing the fact that Kate's cancer fakery allegations have forced the palace media to clean up. Everyone has precancerous cells. All that means is slightly abnormal cells that have the potential to develop into cancer. They also have a chance of going away on their own, right? Cervical dysplasia, people who have abnormal cells on their lady parts because of HPV exposure. There's all kinds of anomalies on the skin that can indicate skin cancer risk, right? It's suspected that the truth of all this is that maybe Kate went in for a tubal, right, and had a pap smear that found low-grade dysplasia. out of an abundance of caution, because low-grade dysplasia rarely becomes cancerous, but since she's the Princess of Wales and has access to medical care the rest of us could only dream of, she underwent treatment for it because she never actually had cancer, only precancerous cells. And given that, they're able to say she's cancer-free immediately after completing treatment. What a different choice could have been made to, educate women about, the risks and benefits of pap smears and testing and diagnosing and providing preventative care for abnormal cells. But the opportunity was missed, and the choice was made to have this circus of confusion and conspiracy theories overtake the world with these suspicious images and body double videos and relative invisibility of Kate Middleton until she popped up and went to Wimbledon, Trooping of the Colour, and just a handful of other events. Was talking about sailing and going sunning. Didn't add up then, doesn't add up now. Why all the talk about Kate finally getting to go in the front door of the cancer treatment center, her affection for her port, etc.? As far as I'm aware, you don't do a course of full-blown chemotherapy, as Kate has said she's done, for a few precancerous cells in the cervix. It just doesn't make any sense medically, right? If you were writing an episode of House or Grey's Anatomy, you might be fired for creating this kind of mishmash of confusion and very specific medical jargon that is contradictory. I don't think Kate's a hypochondriac. And some folks can't imagine that she would choose to go through preventative chemo unless she has a strong family history of cervical cancer, right? Some folks have suggested that the whole precancerous cells versus cancer confusion was a method of stopping Will from divorcing her by any means necessary, right? Most women get an abnormal pap smear at some point in their lives, right? A person who has an abnormal pap smear in their 20s doesn't necessarily require treatment, and the situation corrects itself, right? It's awful to say you had cancer, needed treatment, and then announce you're in remission if you never actually had it, and what you had was precancerous cells. It's not okay to pick and choose words and jargon as a cover story for disappearing for other reasons. People have talked about ED. I don't really think that in her 40s, suddenly ED has gotten so out of control. A lot of people, right? Actors, models, bodybuilders, dancers live a lifetime of that and are functional, they live with it, right? We all remember watching that weird AI bench video with the disappearing ring and the slats being mismatched on either side and other anomalies in the image with the background and her hair and things glitching and then reappearing. And somehow we're supposed to believe that reputable journalists began contacting Kensington Palace last week, meaning February 2025, to ask for clarification, right? First of all, when it comes to the toxic British media, what exactly is a reputable journalist, right? They've all been kind of bought and paid for, no? Some people are saying this is BS. And again, semantic games are being played, and certain words are used to trigger fans to fill in the blanks in the story, either with conspiracy or assuming certain health diagnoses, right? And people have been going very hard in the paint to defend Kate Middleton and the Palaces for, I think we can all agree, mishandling the disappearance. I hesitate to call it a health crisis. Funny how King Charles has an indisputable case of prostate cancer and it hasn't stopped him from appearing and working. It's only stopped Kate Middleton from appearing and working, and it still is a blanket excuse for both her and her spouse to not work for the British taxpayer that funds the whole royal enterprise. They've got their own wealth and their own money, but they still bleed the British taxpayer dry so they can lounge in Mustique and go on weeks-long hunting trips abroad and always emerge to do a half-hour, a 2-hour engagement with a deep, dark, almond brown tan that you can't get in the island of Britain. It's just bull. Some people think the initial reports by the Spanish journalist Concha Calleja are probably the closest we have heard to the truth. Some emergency happened around Christmas 2023, and Kate was in bad shape, after she stabilized, they had to do another procedure, the planned surgery. Whether it was abdominal, who knows? And how much they said and what they said to the public depended on how Kate's rehab went. So they did everything possible to stall and hide her and play games with words and photos, right? Some people think that the December 2023 incident may have been related to Thomas Kingston. We next saw Kate swollen-faced in her mama's Audi saloon with the 5 wheels. And then Papa Middleton tried to run up on Buckingham Palace and got roughed up. And then Mama Middleton suffered a head-on collision somewhere in Berkshire. On the heels of those incidents, Thomas Kingston went partying with William at Highgrove on a Saturday and was found injured about the skull by Sunday. And then after that, William appeared bruised about the neck at a synagogue and then swaying at an official investiture, right? The York girls aren't talking. Sophie, the rest of the royals aren't talking. But since Trooping of the Color, we have seen Kate walking around with a new facial scar. And somehow her glam budget, clothing, hair, makeup, has been altered, cut, if you will. Meanwhile, William stays tan and going on hunting trips with Hugh Grosvenor and perhaps on vacation with other homies that have gotten married, right? The most glaring thing about the last year and a half is that Kate Middleton doesn't go to weddings with Prince William anymore. Nope. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan are safe in California, enjoying Napa wine and green things that are sticky, icky, and that take the edge off of being bullied by toxic British media. If you think that it's a shock for Kensington Palace to try to correct published articles about precancerous cells versus a cancer diagnosis at this stage of the game, please put a 1 in the chat. Please let me know what you think. Stars, I'm always hungry to know your opinion of these matters.